Hey everybody, welcome to Stacking Pennies. We're stacking pesos this week, breaking down Mexico City with none other than Shane van Gisbergen joining the show. We had a blast. So much to talk about. Ryan Flores joining us as always right here in the Nonsense Garage. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stack some pesos.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hola, amigos. Me llamo Corey. Y mi amigo Ryan Flores.
Buenos dias.
That's about all the Spanish I learned this week. I've been down there since Wednesday. Got back yesterday. Holy moly, buddy! What a trip. I had a blast. I'm excited to be home, though.
I just want to cover this before anybody clicks off. Some people had a tough time getting down there. Me and you had nothing but great experience. So if you're looking for a podcast where we're going to dog and tell you everything about Mexico,
this ain't
go
it.
on to the next one, because we had nothing but a good time.
Now, I'm aware enough that I probably had a bit of a insulated experience in Mexico with black car services and security around all the time.
I rode buses and I was on the team side, and
we walked around downtown.
Don't get me wrong. There was points in time where you could find something to complain about.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset of like, we had to ride a bus. We had to sit on a bus a little bit longer. We didn't get a rental car. It's all stuff that we've had to do in the past. It's all stuff that if you want to race for a living, you're going to have to have some logistics and fly around the world and race. And it was a great time. The city was I don't know, we had a blast.
It was really neat. The area we stayed in Palenque is kind of like Brooklyn is what I kind of related it to. There's trees, there's super nice stores.
Parks you can run around, museums.
We have gotten as an industry so spoiled with travel. We literally go Statesville. You don't go through TSA. You throw your backpack on the plane. You land. Rental cars are on the tarmac. You literally get in. You drive to the racetrack.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more convenient than that. It used to, like Dale Inman says, used to not be this easy.
Oh, it was never this easy.
This was just a little peek of like, hey, this is what it used to be like, 15 years ago.
And
it's not that bad.
We also have, as a industry, done the same thing for so long that whenever anything new comes up, there's inherently people that are like, this is gonna be so bad, and it's not. Like, and then you get done with the weekend and you go, oh, that wasn't that bad, and I thought it was. Obviously, from pick your side, I only had to go to the racetrack on Sunday, but from the catering to being around other teams, I really liked that. We stayed in the same hotel as Hendrick and 2311, and we were kind of all around each other and all did everything together, and everybody seemed to pull the rope in the same direction. And it's funny because when you're in a different country and you don't know anybody and you really can't speak the language, when you see somebody from another team, you inherently go up and talk to them and conversate and get to know them better.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of an ally at that point, where if you were just in Kansas at a barbecue joint, you just walk by them.
That's right. And I also think I love traveling, especially international. I haven't done very much. I've been to Italy and been to a couple missions trips, but like I love the uncomfortability of it. It's like you don't speak the language, everything's just uncomfortable, you're not really familiar with anything. You kind of got to be on not high alert, but your senses have to be aware. You have to pay a bit more attention when you're international than usual, and I like that. It was like an adventure for the sport.
Well, you could tell that a bunch of guys in our industry had binge watched Narcos Mexico on a flight to Sonoma, and they were all scared that that's what it was going to be, and that's not what it was at all. It was like being in any big city.
I'll be honest, that was my expectation.
I'm pretty close with you, but I had to who I talked to was Sam Hunt's wife, and she's a model, works for agencies. She's like, oh, I've been to Mexico a bunch. I just had to fly here by myself. Like, this is great. I don't know what everybody's freaking out about. This is a great city.
It is
walk around and enjoy the city. And me and my tire carrier, Drew Baum, on Saturday, we, as a group, we went to the Anthropology Museum, which is right next to our hotel, and we walked taco spot, shout out Alex that he gave us to. We walked no less than 10 miles that day around the city. And I got luchador masks for my kids and kind of got the whole Mexico experience and never felt sketched out one time. Now, if you're out at 2 o'clock in the morning doing stuff you're not supposed to do, that's where some people probably found themselves in a little bit of trouble. But I heard no bad stories. Everybody made it back alive and put on a great race in front of the fans. I did see Larson brought up that point earlier about all the drivers stayed at the Ritz-Carlton together.
Yeah.
And about being together and riding the bus together. And you brought up a good point before the show that it was cool for them to have that camaraderie, but I thought the same thing you did.
I don't know if it's good.
Well, it's good for once, maybe in a weekend, but I like the fact that the coach lot is way more separated than it used to be. You used to get there on Thursday, you'd have your families, you'd stay Thursday to Sunday. Now you're pretty much in and out Saturday, Sunday. These guys don't get a lot of time around each other, and you see the on-track product where they just all smash into each other. And you talked about it with Jesse Love a couple weeks ago, where you go to drivers' meetings or you go to driver intros in Xfinity and everybody's hanging out talking. Oh, yeah. You go to Cup and it's strictly business, and everybody kind of hates each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's made the racing better.
That's the way it should be. Like, I also, my theory on that is, like, as these cars develop and they're safer, it inherently lowers your mutual respect for your competitor. Because if you watch the IndyCar guys, they have a very high level of mutual respect. They have a bit of a camaraderie too, because I know that if I give you a Nerf bar or a wheel, you're going to probably end up in the catch fence. Like, so there's inherent things that you can't do in an IndyCar, an open wheel car, because the car's relatively unsafe.
Yes.
Our cars, knock on wood, nobody's going to get hurt. Like, you have to really stuff something to get hurt. So you don't have that little bit of shade of thought in your mind of, like, if I spin this guy out, he's not gonna walk out of this, which creates better racing, because I want people to smash into each other. Especially being a TV guy, give us some stuff to talk about.
I think it's great, and I don't know, man. I thought that the Xfinity race with Suarez was like, when he won, I was like, oh, and if Taylor Gray would have dumped him coming to the checkered, because he was getting close, and I was like, please do not. And it's like he got a little too close for comfort there in the last corner.
Oh, man.
And I was like, this kid.
He wouldn't have made it out. He wouldn't have made it out.
No, and shout out Taylor Gray. He's been doing great, but, man, that would have been a tough look. But Suarez winning that race.
So we left the racetrack during Xfinity race, so we're watching it in the lobby at the Hyatt. And all the people you just mentioned are in the lobby. There had to be 300 people there watching these TVs. And it's me, Carl, Danielle, Trevor Bain. Trevor Bain is like Taylor's driver coach. He works with some Toyota guys. He's got SMT up. He's reading the radio transmissions, and it's like getting down to 2 or 3 to go. I looked over at Trevor. I said, Trevor, if Taylor Gray spins out Daniel Suarez, I'm punching you in the face. He says, okay.
Trevor Bain has the least punchable face. That's a guy you never want to punch. He's just so nice.
I know. I'd hate to do that, but I would have to.
For the Amigo in Mexico City, if you're the driver coach,
he's just guilty by association.
Take one for the team, Trevor. Sorry.
That's right. So Daniel Suarez wins. Danielle Trotta, her and Julia Julia Suarez are like best friends, so she's over there crying. The entire lobby is like, yes, let's go. I was so pumped up for him, for him to win that. I hope it took some pressure off of him for Sunday, knowing that he delivered a trophy, but I still don't think that he felt good about Sunday's result. But
no,
he had a hell of a party. I don't even know what you call that. That was some sort of a Mexican shindig.
It was a little bit too much for us.
Yeah, we were there for about a half hour, and these people started getting up playing bongos on tables, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see my way out.
Yep, it was a good party, but we should pull the curtain back on our conversation at
so
dinner.
We leave that party, went back. So
NBC,
we were all the prime people were at this little hole in the wall Mexican dive bar. And Dale Jr., like you said, when he called me on Tuesday, he said he wanted to drink some beers and hang out. So he was hanging out, posted up at this place.
We left. We were at this dinner, had a couple beers, left, went to Suarez's party, came back to the hotel. We were going to walk in the hotel. I'm like, we should go grab another beer. And Alex and the Amazon crew were walking in. They're like, Dale and them are still over there. We're like, let's go get a nightcap.
Oh, dude.
But we got on this great conversation that, man, this is going to be an awesome social clip. Clip this one out for social. We got on a great conversation on who would win in a ranking
competition.
Let's call it a mid-season playoffs like we're gonna have, but for fighting.
Yeah,
out of NASCAR drivers.
We were throwing out, because Dale's take is all the old guys, Terry Labonte, the entire poll year, 1995 Cup Series field, every single one of them could beat every single current driver, and I completely agree with him.
We came down to 2 drivers that we felt like would be
I'll tell you,
leaps and bounds above the rest, and it was Daniel Suarez.
We looked at the point standings, and we were like, okay, this guy beats this guy. Okay, he advances to the next round. We ultimately tracked it all down to the 3 Trackhouse drivers are probably the ones that are fighting it out to the death.
And Ricky Stenhouse.
And Ricky Stenhouse. That's your semifinals. Suarez and Ricky, SVG and Ross.
Yeah.
I'm going to go SVG just because of size.
SVG's just size, yeah. But Ross is a Florida man.
I know he doesn't quit.
And I think
we have to pick a winner,
I think
though,
the best fight in the garage, if there was a lock him in a cage and have a UFC style fight, pound for pound, because they're probably in the same weight class, about the same size. Daniel Suarez versus Ricky Stenhouse
would be a headliner.
Yeah, hell of a fight.
Kidding me? That actually might be the main card.
Could be.
And I think if it's on Mexican soil, he'd have the momentum with the crowd behind him. I think Daniel Suarez takes the cake, actually.
If he comes out with a luchador mask, man, they're screwed. I'm really a big fan of luchador masks.
It's unbelievable. I heard that those guys, they have like their sidekicks are midgets. Like every single luchador comes out with another mini version.
I didn't know that.
That's what I hear. I don't know.
Great time in Mexico, nonetheless.
I just wanted to give Suarez another shout out for winning an Xfinity race. What else substantial happened in the Xfinity race? That's really the most substantial.
The 88 and
Ty Gibbs.
They both wrecked. I did hear that Chris Bell was like, I'm done Xfinity racing on road courses because it threw him off so much for Sunday, where we used to see everybody try to go to Watkins Glen, right, and get in an Xfinity car, and then we'd see half the Cup field trying to get an Xfinity ride because it transferred over with the old car. With the new car, it doesn't do anything for them. So
we saw Chris Bell. I mean, he qualified really bad because he had jumped right out of the Xfinity car, and then I don't know the timing of qualifying, whether they qualified Cup Xfinity cars prior to that, because then he went and qualified the Cup car 32nd.
Yeah. It was Xfinity qualifying, then Cup qualifying, which Cup qualifying was unique because it was kind of open. You go out whenever you wanted, but then it started raining, so some guys didn't get a good lap in, some guys did. So it jumped up the field, but the next thing that jumped over the field was the rain. You see, we have a clip of, I think Cliff spoke Spanish.
Let's hear it.
This sounds like a man from the outskirts of Richmond, Virginia, reading Spanish off of a paper.
No.
Gracias a HendrickCars.com, Hendrick Automotive Group, El Señor y La Señora, Hendrick Chevrolet y todos en Taller de Hendrick Motorsports. Equipo número 5, vamos a divertirnos en
Still going.
That's the most Cliff I've ever heard.
You're welcome.
Kyle.
That also sounds like you with reading ChatGPT when you greet Carissa's family when you go to Puerto Rico.
I don't even try. I don't try that hard.
Me llamo es Ryan. Hello. I'm here for
no,
the comida.
I say
gracias.
Buenos. Because I take like buenos dias and just cut down buenos. So I sound cool. And then I just don't say anything.
Just like nod. Like,
or if someone starts talking too much, I just look at her. You going to help me here?
Or like you wonder if they're talking about you. They probably are.
They probably are. It's more mannerisms and laughing.
Man.
It's more what I do.
So we're sitting here watching this. These guys are on wets. It's raining pretty hard at this point in time to start the race. So Carl and I are watching from the media center, and he's like, "Man, I would absolutely love to race in the rain. That's my favorite thing to do. But the fact that Kyle Busch can bust his ass and wipe out 7 cars makes me just want to talk about it."
So with the 38 car, we were right behind the 8. And it looks
Watch
like
the 38 too. The 38 put his left rear on the paint, and
that's what it was.
And just swoop.
He's like, I've never hydroplaned like that.
It wasn't hydroplaned. He put his left rear on the paint. It's slippy.
Looking back at it now, talking to Zane after the race, we couldn't see anything on pit road where we were at. Oh, you just get cleaned out from behind. When we wrecked, Zane was like, they were talking to him, hey, just get it back here. What's it feel like? He's like, oh, hold on, I'm out of breath. But he was following the 8.
Oh, dude.
And he's like, I was just lifting at the bridge, not even going hard. Makes sense now that got his left rear in the paint. And let's hear it.
This is the front straightaway.
Yeah, that's where he wrecked in the 1, right?
No.
Yeah, it was in the 1. Okay. I thought it was.
Oh, my God. Bow.
Ooh, and it ruined a lot of people's days.
So hang on,
and that was the backside of the top 10.
I do need to. I don't want to throw shade here, but he did the exact same thing in Chicago last year. We were on wet right in front of me. So what's that turn? The long straightaway, back straightaway, 6 maybe. And him and I are kind of making some hay. We might have been 13th, 14th. I don't know where we're at. And there became somewhat of a dry line, and I'm like 3 car lengths behind him, and the the first time we go through there, he started like trying to open his entry up a little bit, and there was about a foot of water on entry, and we kept getting a little bit more, and he put his right side tires in that, just like Zane did his left rear on the paint, and that thing just, you watch the rear tires go, and then he's like, oh, and I'm like, oh man, oh yeah, oh, you're done. Have a good one.
So yeah.
I
ruined the 5 cars day.
Man, there's no more anxiety in the car because you know you have to be perfect, and you're only one mistake away from ending your day.
What did you think about the 5 going for fastest lap?
I love it.
Yeah. You play the rules that
you play the game to the rules that are made.
I did think that LaTart made a good point on the post race that maybe to get that fastest lap point, you have to be on the lead lap at the end of the race.
So let me play the contrary to your point of like celebrating that win. Like what's stopping the 5 hypothetically, right? And I don't think that they would play the game like this from sliding all your weight out, running the thing low on fuel, putting qualifying tires on it, because you know that you're not going to be teched after the race and go running a 10th faster and get 1 point, because the 5 lost the regular season championship to Tyler Reddick last year by 1 point.
To that point, if you can get in the weeds as far as you want with this, but if the car that got the fast lap gets 1 point, do they have to go to tech now after the race? Right? Like that's the tough part. Right. So that's where I think being on the lead lap is a good point. That was a great idea to give somebody the fast lap, something more to talk about. But now it's kind of getting manipulated because this isn't the first time it's happened.
Right.
And if you're at a super speedway and like you're not doing so good, you can hang back and get that fastest lap. There's a couple tracks where you can. Martinsville, you did it last year.
Yeah. Yeah. We our stuff was wrecked. Right. We put it low on fuel. We put qualifying pressures on it. Let's just salvage the day.
Get the fast lap.
Yeah.
So there's a couple tweaks to be made there. But all in all, it was cool watching him run qualifying laps in the middle of the race.
Absolutely.
He was driving the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, he was. And
restarts,
also shout out to those guys too for working on that thing, getting it fixed. You guys did a good job fixing Zane's car because that thing was destroyed and that thing was going pretty good at the end of the day.
Yeah, he was doing good. I didn't realize in the wet he just went forward. I was like, damn, Zane's going for it here. And he said after the race, I grew up racing, shifter carts on the wet racetrack. So
I'll tell you somebody else who's pretty good on wets is Justin Haley. No matter where they put wets on, right? It's Richmond, Loudon, he's always kind of chipping his way towards the front.
His car, the damage on his car looked sick. It looked like an old slot car.
It looked like a dirt late model.
Yeah. Restarts were crazy. And Higgy's got some pulled up here. This is kind of where I was nervous for SVG late in the race.
He's still in control of the race. This is so early. This is right when some guys are on dries. These first four guys are on wets.
Oh. So some guys are on dry, some guys are still on wets.
It was really interesting how quick the dry line appeared because it was still kind of misting, but over the course of that 2 or 3 lap caution run, it freaking dried right up. Yeah. So the 88 locks front up here. I actually asked him about that in missed the corner.
Drove her in a little deep.
Drove her in there a little deep. McDowell completely missed it. So I'm just going to blend right here. It looks nice. And it was an interesting take so I talked to Briscoe Friday after practice, and he's like, man, the last third of the brake zone here, because you don't have any downforce, like the car just doesn't stop, and that's why you see guys lock tires up. I think Zane might have locked the right front or left front up at some point in time. So you saw that if your bias wasn't dialed in perfect, if you had a little too much front on cold brakes, it would lock it up. Another little nuance about elevation. The elevation was a little bit noticeable, especially if you go up some stairs. You'd be like,
if you went upstairs, you're like, man, I'm a little winded. What am I doing?
It was 8,000 feet above sea level. But we played pickleball, and we were just fine. I felt pretty good up there.
I went and worked. I woke up early. I was going to be here. I went and worked out. They had a sauna. I was sitting in a sauna, and my phone goes off. It's like 7:45, and Corey's like, pickleball, 8 o'clock. I was like, uh-oh. So I was trying to hydrate. There was one game I was playing. It was just me and Carl, and I was like, really started getting dominated. I'm like, I am dehydrated, starting to see double. And I didn't want to be a sissy, though. Carl was like in shape. I was like, by the end of it, I was like, hey man, I need to get some water. Sorry.
When you talk about Carl being in shape, there's no more that you could be in shape than that guy.
Well, his 2 buddies he had with him that were jiu-jitsu black belts, they're studs as well.
Yeah.
2 guys that if stuff did go down in Mexico City, made me feel a little bit more safe. But
I felt much more safe.
So yeah, there was contact all around the racetrack. Just on restarts the first couple laps.
Man,
Ryan Truex gets, shout out to Ryan Truex getting the nod this weekend. That was imagine you train your whole life to get the nod to go in the 11 car, and it's a rain race in Mexico City.
He was actually making a little bit of hay on wets, but that's just, man, like, as important as every single spot is. Oh my goodness, Ryan Preece about stuff that thing outside of 11. That's every point is so important that if you know that you're not racing somebody the next week, you're just going to get used up.
Can I just say this? Every time I looked at the TV and Ty Dillon was on it, people use Ty Dillon up.
I think because you don't really see beforehand, and I think Ty was kind of being a bull.
Was he?
I think so. I don't want to assume, but a couple times I saw it, I'm like, okay, that was warranted. This one right here was not the 9. Oh, so this is when the 43 stuck him right in the fence. Watch this right here.
Oh boy!
Like, whoa!
I could imagine what Ryan's radio was like after that.
He actually didn't really fire off like I would expect.
Did Austin Dillon do this? And then Joey came back later and spun Austin out?
Yeah.
So somebody was telling me that Joey and Austin got into it, and I was like, oh, that's going to be an awkward
This is the
meeting.
first time I'm seeing this. So
but it was Austin. When they were telling me, I thought they were talking about Austin Cindric. I was like,
my God, sketchiest moment of the race here. Riley Herbst get turned around blind corner off of 11, in between 11 and 12, and Ricky, holy mackerel.
Ricky tried to play that off when we saw him at Suarez's post party, and he was like, oh, yeah, and it was all good. It's no big deal. Yeah,
that would have been humongous. I don't know what Riley could have done there. You're trying to get it turned around, not lose as much time as possible, but, like, holy mackerel, that could have been large. And then, Hocevar, if he had any brownie points left in the tank, he burned them all up down to 0. All the stuff about, talking about it, we're all good now. Let me just arrive right in the back of him. What the funniest part was is, like, he hit him, spun him out, and he just, like, stopped, like, let him finish out what he was doing and watched him.
Well, he's a lap down. I think that's Ricky's point. It's like, dude, you're a lap down. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, there's no need. If you're racing and you're trying to, especially this time, you're just time over distance, trying to get by whoever you can. But there's no need for him to be that aggressive. I literally think he's just eye racing all the time.
Yeah.
Just trying to go forward, eye racing all the time. He tried to miss him, but he didn't.
I know he did a pretty good job of actually getting him.
You do the crime, you pay the time.
I don't know what paying it's going to look like.
It's an all-time quote, though. I'm gonna beat your ass when we get back to the States.
I think we pulled the clip too. Actually, let's hear it.
Let's hear his radio. Oh, he's gonna wait till Pocono.
Tell him I will see him in Pocono. Because he just got wrecked by the 77 again.
I wonder if Ricky was that afraid of Mexican prison.
Yeah, the federales don't mess around.
Hey,
in-car camera, this is after the race.
I'm going to beat your ass. You're a lap down. You got nothing to do. Why are you running right into me? Second time. I don't give a damn. I will beat your ass. I will get back in the state.
I love it how he just, like, admitted, like, I know, I did it, I know.
I wonder what if Ricky was like, known for fighting, I got to look up the laws here in Mexico because I don't want to get out and overreact and have to spend some jail time there. So if he, like, went through the laws, okay, yep, I'm going to have to do this when I get back on. Let's just land in Laredo.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did that much research.
Then why did he not just go in there and punch him? Because that would
have been perfectly warranted.
When the race started, I forgot I was in Mexico. I was just doing the race, right? Yeah. When you're in a race car, you forget where you are. You're just racing.
Yeah.
So then when the race is over, you just react that way. It was not until you, like, I don't know, have to, like, get back on the bus or go back to your hotel that you realize, oh, I'm back in Mexico, right? Yeah. Everything feels like you're at Sonoma or wherever you are on pit road. So for him to think about, like, I can't punch him because I'm in Mexico. Or if he's just like, I don't really want to get fined. I got fined a lot of money when I punched
I think
Kyle
it was $75,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
NASCAR should really knock that down to like $2,500.
Yeah.
And make it for better ratings.
Absolutely.
Well,
I mean, we're going to pump it on every single, broadcast we do and talk about it. Yeah, we're going to go find the guy that did it. We're going to pay that guy.
We should.
Yeah, I think instead of fining him, we need to pay him. Reward it. What's the age-old saying? If you fight in my pits, you go to jail, but if you fight in my front stretch, you get $100.
Yeah, hey, if you fight in the pits, it's going to be $75,000. But if you fight on the front stretch, We'll give you some DAP points.
Oh yeah, you get a couple
10
DAP points
plus your multiplier.
Now we're talking.
Now everybody's fighting.
Oh yeah, everybody. Especially right now, the cutoff was last week.
Oh yeah,
everybody just punching each other on pit road.
We got to run this up the NASCAR chain.
Joey would do it just for the sake of getting 10 DAP points.
No doubt. He'd have a plan. It'd be strategic. Okay, who am I fighting at Richmond? That's right in front of the grandstands.
He would.
Final restart. SVG, he's going to join us here in a little bit, but let's check this out. This is where I thought he was vulnerable. All the pit stops are done. He was worried he had a loose wheel because he was getting fast car jitters.
Yep.
What did he say the 20 car had? Some mumbo.
So he had some mumbo.
You said, what's mumbo? He goes, big horsepower.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up, Shane. Appreciate that. He had a lot of great one-liners this week. Like after practice qualifying, he said, "Yeah, I had a good lap going and mucked it up. Had a pretty good fly going or a ripper going, something like that." And he said, "I mucked it up." And then he said, "Leaking out of both holes." My man was.
I saw Shane before the race, so I used the bathroom. I was coming out of the bathroom. He was in front of me. I said, "What are you doing, big dog?" And he goes, "Oh, terrible." He's sweating. He's like, seventh time in the bathroom today. It's not good.
Brutal.
It's like, I thought that if there was ever going to be a Tony Stewart-esque performance with having to drive your car back to the motorhome lot to get out and change fire suits, I thought this was going to be the one. There was a lot of drivers pre-race that were having a tough time with their bowels.
Yeah.
Clearing that up, if you didn't know, Tony Stewart pooped his pants. And then he won the race at Watkins Glen, had a white fire suit, and instead of driving to Victory Lane, he drove back to his motorhome. So
changed in the street clothes.
And then drove back to
Only
Victory
real
Lane.
ones know about that.
Didn't have to happen.
No, it didn't. What else we got? Anything good? I mean, we're talking SVG here shortly. That's why I brought my rugby ball.
Yeah, the question of the week, should Mexico City be on the calendar again? I think absolutely.
I don't believe it's going to be. I think that it should be. It deserves a place. I believe NASCAR is an international sport. I think fans, whether you're in Canada or Mexico, especially, those are probably the two most practical logistics to make that happen. Doesn't foresee it coming back next year.
You don't think it'll come back next year?
No.
Really?
I got a feeling.
Well, it's also
and some facts, but more mostly feeling.
It can go to other places. We should go to Canada. We should go to other, there's other places that we should go. We should take it on the road. And I think that it proved that obviously there was hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
When a plane blows an engine, it's going to be hiccups anywhere.
Yeah.
We've had those hiccups going out west. We've had them going at.
Yeah.
I've gotten to New Hampshire because of fog on Sunday morning an hour before the race, right? Mm-hmm. There's inherently going to be hiccups anytime you travel, especially do new things. But as a whole, I think it was a win. It shows that as an industry, we can take this show on the road, not just to Darlington or Sonoma, but to Canada, Mexico, anywhere that's kind of in driving distance to have a points-paying race.
Yeah. So I felt like the city welcomed us. There was advertising all over the racetrack, or all over the city. I mean, there had to be 100 different Daniel Suarez billboards. You see all those. So it was really cool, man. I felt like they embraced us. The turnout was probably a touch less than I expected. Come to find out, the ticket prices were the same as F1 weekend.
Oh.
So that was some of the reason why. I mean, the stadium right there was $130 per day per ticket, and you had to commit to 3 days.
Oh boy,
that's a pretty steep ticket.
$130 or pesos?
Dollars.
That's a lot of money for down there.
For sure.
I was surprised at how.
But turn one section, those grandstands were packed because it was a cheaper ticket.
When you get your bill and it's like $900, and you're like, oh man, but then you swipe your card and you look at it and it was like $30.
Yeah.
You're like, man, everything is cheaper down here than it is in the States. Way cheaper.
Yeah. Because we did a dinner on Friday night it was like a 24 top, and my pet peeve is like large dinner parties like that. It was this bizarre restaurant. They had like fashion shows, they had guitars going, then they just happened to like bring some food in front of you, then like another fashion show would get going. I looked over at Junior and he's just like, what the hell is going on? That was only like, I don't know. I mean, a dinner like that in the States is probably 5 figures. That was not quite that much.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, it's definitely a different culture for sure. It's like chaos, dude. It's like controlled chaos, especially on the streets. Like the driving there, the rules are more like recommended as opposed to requirements. If there's a piece of asphalt, maybe a little bit of sidewalk, somebody's taking it. Shuttle buses are freaking going through it's just like driving straight through a roundabout. I'm like, yes.
I was happy
get us where we got to
jump
go.
in front of race cars for a living because it really helped me out navigating the streets. I almost got ran over by a motorcycle.
Did you?
But didn't.
Watch out.
Lived to tell the tale. Let's get Shane in here.
Shall we? Let's do it. SVG, the Kiwi, winning south of the border. We just have an international sport, ladies and gentlemen. Friend of the show, Shane van Gisbergen, joining us on Stacking Pennies, coming up right after this.
Le Mans is the biggest race in the world. It's a 24-hour race. It's about survival, pushing man and machine to the limit. We're gonna race in NASCAR at Le Mans.
We're gonna do what?
There's a stereotype that NASCAR isn't as technologically advanced as other racing series.
In 1976, Bill France took a couple of NASCARs to Le Mans.
One made only 2 laps.
Our goal was to make sure that we beat my father's record.
Mike Rockefeller, Jimmy Johnson,
Jensen Button.
You're not going to get bigger star power. Hendrick Motorsports is NASCAR's most successful, most powerful team. If you were going to choose a team, this was the team you wanted to choose.
We're gonna do this right. Whatever it takes, we're not gonna be embarrassed.
We had to battle and fight and claw.
3, 2, 1.
You always enter a race with a strategy, but rarely do things play out as you would hope.
It's raining hard out there.
I don't have a ton of wet driving experience.
Jimmy's coming down the back straightaway. He's like, I think the car's on fire.
We might not make it back out there.
We want to show the world we were ready.
We have one shot and one opportunity to go and make this successful.
This car is so loud. The other cars are whizzing by, just pew, 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 and then...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have tried to tell y'all this guy is built different from the first time he ever came on the podcast, Stacking Pennies, prior to the Chicago Street Race. He's got that look in his eye. Shane van Gisbergen joined the Stacking Pennies. Hey, congrats, buddy. Shout out Peyton in the back, retrieving another helmet and the trophy. Grab the trophy.
Yeah.
Grab the trophy. Let me see that thing.
What is it?
There was plenty of tequila and beer, I think, drunk out of this Sunday night, but I wasn't there to see it.
Did you just go home? You didn't stay and party?
I'm a sucker for a post-race win victory celebration, but I was in bed by 8:30. I was wrecked.
No.
Oh. This is like your flu game, like Jordan's flu game. That's what this.
He rallied like a champ. He wouldn't even know it. Man, you controlled the whole race. Was there any sort of time during that race where you're like, oh, man, this isn't really going my way? Because it seemed like you didn't lay a wheel wrong all day.
Well, I guess that middle stint, Ty Gibbs led for a fair bit, but I kind of could drive to him when I wanted, but I would get so hot when I caught him. And then, where we split strategies end of stage 2, it was like, once Steven sort of painted the picture of the race, there was a threat of rain and how it was going to work out. It would have been interesting to see how that worked out. But, he was probably the closest guy, but I still think we had a bit of an edge on him.
You say you would get hot, like the motor would get hot, or like you would get hot in the seat?
No, everything. Like, there's just no air there. So if you ran a couple of laps, like full threshold braking, like the brakes would just get really hot, and then that would just go into the tires. And then if I backed off them, second and a half, 2 seconds, the grip would just come straight back. So
interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
There's just no air to cool things down.
I don't think that people put that much of a premium on keeping track position, because it looked when the 54 caught that yellow that flipped him the wrong way, right after you pitted, right? He just got stuck like 8th or 9th. Yeah, he just got stuck and couldn't go anywhere. So that was interesting how much, because he was one of the better cars and kind of got stuck. But, man, tell us a little bit. You mentioned Steve. I'm sure he's been wearing, like, those first couple races of the season, feeling like he isn't doing the best job for you with the performance. Been of an uptick lately, but is there a little bit of weight off of his back knowing that you guys have a playoff berth?
well, it's off everyone's back, right? But I really think not only as Trackhouse, but an 88 crew, we've really stepped up the last month or so. You know, as a team, we haven't really been there. And yeah, I'm obviously, I'm lacking on the ovals, but getting there. And I think the way Steven's been approaching it, and also Josh Williams, my spotter, every week we're just getting better and better and trying to tick things off. So yeah, the last month and a half, we've really gotten better at the ovals and getting solid results, but also having good speed as well. So yeah, it's been really cool building momentum. And then obviously on the weekend, it was crazy. Like not having all the people there on Friday, I think how we managed the weekend was pretty cool.
I think I look at crew chiefs now. It's never been a harder time for crew chiefs, and I've known Steve Dorn a long time. He's like aging like the president. These crew chiefs all are. And right when he calls a great race and everything comes together, you roll out of the pits and you say, "I think I got a loose wheel." Were you just trying to give everybody a heart attack, or what'd you feel there?
Well, obviously, like there's no tire pressure rule, so everyone's pushing how low they can run it, and you're running these crazy tire pressures everyone does. And when you leave pit lane, it just feels funky, and track was a little bit damp still. And yeah, we only got half a lap, I guess, before the yellow came out. And then under yellow, it's still on cold tires, and I couldn't really keep warming them up. It just felt odd, And then when you're in that position too, everything's amplified. You're all stressed out, and I'm like, oh no, so obviously we had to stay out. And then, yeah, first lap, I held on to the lead at the restart, but it still felt pretty funky. And then it just got better and better, and as the pressures came up, but you can see everyone's the same, wobbling around. It's just a weird feeling to start with.
Man, if you looked at like the lap tracker, the last run, like everybody's like this, and just Shane's laps were just like flat, dude.
Well, you talked about that in that last stint where you're like, okay, we nailed it, right? And going back to COTA, you guys, you touched on it. Trackhouse's cars weren't great. You just got beat in COTA, and the balance wasn't quite there for you. But when I looked at that lap tracker, I said, oh, they figured it out. Do you feel like you figured something out in that last run where you have the balance for road courses now moving forward these next couple weeks?
Yeah, I feel like we just missed the setup stuff at COTA, and the best thing again was open practice. We could finally try some stuff with the car, and if it wasn't good, we could have changed it back. So it was good to try some stuff that I've always wanted to try with a NASCAR, and haven't been able to do that so far. So yeah, it worked well, and I think we learned a bit, and as a team, we all sort of tried different things in areas. And yeah, once the race started, I had what I needed in the car. And yeah, that last stint was just unreal, being able to just hook those lap times all day where the other guys sort of faded. It was a cool feeling.
Did you sprinkle some V8 supercar tricks in that unit or what?
Not really. They're too different, but just stuff you always wanted to try. You can try it in the simulator all you want, but
right.
It's hard when you go to these tracks and the setup's welded. It's a risk sometimes.
Right.
You talk about getting no practice, and Corey talks about a lot the metric, right? If you have a tough start to the year, you just get buried in the metric. Then you have to qualify first, then you have a pit stall, and it makes it hard to dig yourself out. How challenging has that been?
It has been hard. Like it was, there's a few weeks where we're like the second or third car out, and I feel like I'd done a great lap, and I was still at the tail end of the field. Like, it's a very tough system if you're having a bad run, and when you start buried in this pack, you know how hard these cars are to pass. There's just no air, and it just compounds. You just almost stuck there, even though you've got a car that's better off running 30th. So it only took us one or two races, and once you break that sort of cycle, you're away. Like, it changes your week, and the momentum just starts building.
Well, I think this might be the catalyst to start that snowball going the other way, because you got a great stretch of races coming up, 4 road courses, couple of speedways with Atlanta and Chicago street race. Obviously, you're the best at. Do you just see like, okay, hit the reset, the first 14, 15, however many races of the year don't matter anymore because now you're in the playoffs. How do we go get the most amount of stage wins, stage points to go actually give ourselves a little bit of cushion or a little bit of head start going into the playoffs?
Yeah, the mindset changes now, right? There's a few tracks I still haven't been to, but there's a lot of tracks we're about to go to for the second time. We've got a notebook and just going to get better and better, you hope, second time around, and I know that we will. And then, yeah, you just got to keep building that momentum week to week, it's hard to, once it gets rolling, you just, like the last few weeks I've been able to feel it, like all the mechanics, crew guys upstairs. And then when you go in the pit stop meetings, everyone's, just that, just the upswing, it just uplifts everyone. It's really cool to feel it and be a part of, a group, because you're working with these guys every single week going racing. They're like your family, so
that momentum is a real
cool
thing.
To feel it swing around.
It's a cruel mistress too when you don't have it.
Yeah, but momentum's a real thing, and I think that's the biggest thing is you could see it on people's faces, right? And I talked to Darian Grubb on the flight. I sat behind Darian on the flight out there, and he's like, he realized, he recognized it to me, even said it to me. He said our cars haven't been right. We've been working hard on it, and I think we're starting to trend in the right direction. It was a great weekend for Trackhouse. So how hard has it been? How much harder is it to be in the trenches on the NASCAR side compared to what you're used to on the V8 supercar side?
Well, it is, because you get that momentum. Like there's weeks, I think it was Texas or Homestead, because when the cars are average, like I take the blame obviously, because we know it's the, on ovals I'm not quite there yet, but like I was battling Ross for 30th at Homestead, so I know that our cars aren't that good. So I just try and compare as much as I can to Daniel and Ross, and most of those races when we're in the 20s or the 30s, they weren't too far ahead, which was pretty cool. But yeah, Ross has this amazing ability to get the restarts, get huge spots, and just get a result, a top 5 or a top 10 out of a 20-something place car. Like he is exceptional. So I'm just trying to get close to my teammates. But yeah, certainly our overall car performance has really improved the last month or so.
I've got in my life, I have a rotation of about 4 people that I talk to, like my wife, you. Really, it's only about 2. That's about the only people I talk to. But you, sir, have a Rolodex of Max Verstappen you text on Sunday morning to get some tips, and Marcus Ambrose. So did you talk to those guys post-race? Like, hey, man, thanks for the help. Here's a picture of the trophy. Talk to you next week.
Yeah. No, just I didn't speak to Marcus much, but, we still talk every now and then. But, yeah, certainly, Max didn't give me much. It's just blown out of proportion, I guess, because of who he is. But, yeah, just you look for any advantage, right? But certainly cool to have a couple of little tips from him. And yeah, he obviously forgot to tell me to take it easy with the food I eat.
Did you see that lap that Corey was just telling me about by Max at was it Nürburgring?
Yeah, when he drove his GT3 car at Nürburgring, it was 2 seconds or 3 seconds faster than any other GT3 car ever a second lap.
Yeah, I think he's trying to build up to do the full 24-hour race there. So it'd be cool to see him do that.
That guy's wild, bro.
That guy's different. I thought of something. I think we're all guilty of this as humans, because you're new to NASCAR, right? But you've raced at a high level for a long time, and I recognize that because when they were trying to coach you up when you were leading by 15 seconds, you're like, back it down, and you were like, guys, I know what I'm doing. Like give me a break. How much of that have you run into of being like, hey, I get it. I guess I'm a rookie here, but I know what's going on.
Yeah, but I guess that's this dynamic of the sport. If someone's leading by so far, they look for any excuse to throw a yellow, right? But for me, that's just how it is. But for me, I'm like, if a yellow comes out, every single car's going to pit. The tires are already 2 seconds a lap off. Right. I tried to go slow, and you just lose concentration, right? So I need to stick in this rhythm, and I just tried to do 35.8s or 36.0s, I think it was, and just try and hit that every lap and challenge myself to be as consistent as possible without taking risk. And yeah, it's better when I was focused. As soon as my mind starts wandering, I lose where I'm at. So try to tell them to stop telling me to back it down.
Yeah, when they were telling you that, it's that's legitimately trying to tell LeBron James, hey man, just to throttle back a little bit. Don't pass the ball as much, don't shoot the ball. Let the man play. Let the man go out there and play. We're halfway through your rookie season, Shane, in Cup Series, and you have checked the big box that everybody expected you to check, but you did it this week. What would you say? I know we had a reset button, and you have the rest of your season to now change the way you attack it, but previously, just off the track, on the track, Cup Series in general, he asked about the grind in the trenches. Was it what you expected it to be? Was it harder? Was it easier? What are some different things at this point of the year that stand out to you?
Yeah, obviously the first few months, from round 5 to 10 or whatever, was extremely difficult. But yeah, I expected that. what I didn't expect was how different the racing was. Like the Xfinity car versus Cup car is, it's not a waste of time, but the racing, the way the cars handle, the way they move in the air, it's almost the exact opposite. So everything I've learned of racing, I've almost had to throw in the bin on ovals. I'm glad I had a year learning about life, the racing, the style, but the cars are night and day different. It's crazy how different they are. So yeah, almost like I probably would have got chewed up and spat out if I just went straight into Cup, but it probably would have been better in the long run because I would have learned a bit quicker. Yeah, the cars are just so different now.
Are you feeling at home yet? Or it's so it was interesting, this feeling that, I've been international a couple of times, but this feeling of when you land on American soil, I was like, oh man, it feels a little bit different. Does when you land anywhere, or do you still feel like you're not home? Right? Obviously your home's in New Zealand where you're born and raised, but does America feel a little bit comfortable to you at this point in time?
Yeah. Walking in the door and having the dogs last night, and we got a pretty nice bit of land in Mooresville. It feels cool to have our own little place. It's a nice bit. Even when it's a good weekend or a bad weekend, it's a good place to come home to and sit there for the week. It's pretty good.
Food still sucks though.
Well, it's better than Mexico.
Hey, I got a quick question before you get off here. You win, and then you go fly home and go straight to the summer shootout. What the hell are you and Scotty doing in Legend Cars at the summer shootout?
Well, we went last year and watched Bubba a couple of races, and it looked fun. Bubba said it was fun, and yeah, we've done 2 races now, and it's been epic. The cars are awesome, the team's awesome, Joe Ryan race cars, and yeah, we just turn up, have some fun, and it's still good learning, I guess. Sort of short track, being in close combat, bit of left foot braking and balance for me. I think it's been pretty good. Restart helped, but getting beaten by 12-year-olds and bump and run by 12-year-olds is pretty humbling. Keelan Harvick's not scared of using the bumper. I watched him take out Scotty last night. So
what did I see? A tweet or something about friendly fire or something? Scotty pushing to a wreck?
Yeah, there was a crash in front of me, and I've checked up, and Scott's just full throttled into me, but he said he got hit, so it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was cool to see you guys out there.
There's a funny picture of us both sitting backwards on the track looking at each other.
That's one I just saw. It is funny. Yeah, it's anything about those cars though, you say a little bit of left foot braking. Do you do that in any other vehicle?
Well, I've committed to fully doing it on all the ovals now. So yeah, but it's just learning about the crossover, how to balance from one to the other, not too much overlap, and those cars are very sensitive to the brake pedal input. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, but it's going to be beneficial to me as well. And that's what you guys did when you were 12, and it's stuff I haven't done. So I'm 20 years behind, I guess, learning. But
I think you'll be okay.
Them calves got to be hard to train, buddy. A lot of meat down there to train up, push the brake pedal.
Down there to push that brake pedal. All right, Shane, I know you got a busy day. A lot of media, obviously some competition meetings as well. We need to get you back here in studio. We miss seeing you talking shop, but we'll let you go. Because you're busy.
See you guys again.
You Congrats, too, buddy.
Dude.
Be well. I'll punt this thing for you later on. And that was some SVG. Gotta love it. Now it's time for some barcos y problemas and boxes.
Oh, jeez. You've been looking up on your phone.
That's what I just typed into my Google Translator. Barcos y problemas and boxes.
Problemas is a big thing that you can have on backwards stops, and the first one in the rain. We're at the tightest pit road that we go to, tightest pit boxes. Everybody's on the lead lap. It's the second lap. Caution comes out for rain. Shane talked about how oily pit road was when you walk up and down it. It was like, hey, boys, this one could be messy. Just keep her on the rails. The 35 here actually hit our car when he was leaving his pit stall, and thank God Drew Baum was like a step ahead our rear carrier, our tire carrier. He didn't get hit, but it was a scrum, buddy. And not only was it a scrum, it was soaking wet. So everybody made it out alive, though, lived to fight another day. One thing they don't talk about enough, these fender openings at road courses are really tight, especially on the front. Keep the, say, 23.5 is really tight. They're about that. on some cars. Well,
the rain
tires are bigger.
Yeah.
So it's even more to get them in and out of the fenders, and the wheel mark is really important. So I kept dragging the left front out all day. I'm like, man, I can't get this thing off the fender. And Zane was like, hey, I had my wheel mark wrong because it's backwards.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, that at least I know that. Like,
well, isn't it left on the left, right's on the right? Isn't that just how you follow it?
Yeah, but when you come to pit road, you're used to stopping and muscle memory takes over, right? It's the same thing we talked about with Shane's clutch. You know, it's more just muscle memory stuff that you're doing. So you're like, oh, and you kind of get bound up. And by the time you forget, I'm already pulling the wheel because it's right out. So if that tape mark that you see on everybody's wheel is so crucial to the front tire changer's position. And then you see we got wrecked.
What happened here? I have no idea what was going on DVP.
We get wrecked. Bergetti did a good job talking about this on Twitter. So we came in, both toe links are broke. We fixed them on pit road, but we went past our 6-minute DVP clock. So the rule is ever changing because all of these situations are unique. So you try to tweak the rule to help out every situation. Well, we finished, once we started the repair on the toe links, we had to finish it on pit road because you couldn't drive without one.
Right.
So we ended up finishing the repair on pit road, but we exceeded the DVP clock. So the thought, what the official in our box was saying, that we had to go to the DVP area. So we drive the DVP area, stop, come back out, run a lap, do a stop and go. Now Ryan's like, okay, I think we could have just done a stop and go. But to Ryan's point, it was a unique situation. The official in the box was maybe not on the same page or confused, or he didn't know.
He went for like the whole scenic tour.
So yeah, he could have stopped up there at the old community breakfast spot too and got him a croissant. But yeah, it's like I said, every situation is unique. I don't think the official understood that our repair was done, so that's why he sent us back to the DVP area, and we got there and just made a loop. That'll be something that we all are better educated on the next time it happens. The second one, a lot of talk about this pit sign, and if you look, it's stopped right now. If you look at where the car chief, Tommy Ellis, is, he cannot really see the 24 because the jackman, the carrier, the carrier's on the ground, the jackman's standing up, and the guy doing the windshield tear-off is standing up. So he can't see the 24. And this is something that teams do. Say someone's cutting you off, you're pissed off, you'll bounce the pit sign off of their windshield to let them know. This was not one of those cases. This is just backwards. He didn't know the 24 was there, and him and Rudy are really good friends from the truck days. So they actually talked about it and laughed, and they said, the 22 guys said that after this situation, they'd be like, hey, Tommy, we're pitting.
Pick up the sign.
But, you know, inevitably in the heat of battle, and if you run the tape and you run their audio, they're like, what an asshole, right? Because in the heat of the battle, that's what you think. But then you talk about it and you realize that it was a mistake. But, man, you don't realize these pit signs are pretty heavy. And if that thing gets hit and hits the rear changer, like that pit sign will take you right out. And it's carbon fiber, so it's not going anywhere. And it actually, from what I understood, it messed up their window tear-off on the 24 car pretty good too. But, yeah, these are just the nuances of going to a different pit road, right? Everything's backwards. So what you do every week and what you see every week, it's just a little bit different. And not just for the guys going over the wall or the drivers, but everybody behind the wall as well. The last one, man, these are dogs of the week, is the 88 team. Because you certainly are not going to win the race on pit road, but you sure as hell can lose it there.
They had a bit of a scare.
They had a scare. We talked about it with Shane. We can run his audio. He thought he had a loose wheel after this last stop.
I'm sure Steven's stomach dropped.
So right now, Steve's like, guys, are you good?
And just confirming, everybody is saying that all the nuts look really good. Ross back at the shop confirmed too. He sees nothing out of the ordinary. So
they can confirm nuts look good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Like it is moving a bit, but I hope it's just low pressure. Okay.
So on their last pit stop, they're waiting on fuel, so they took their time anyway.
I watch all the videos myself, Shane, and everything looks good to me too. Okay, thank you.
And that's where technology has come so far. I remember doing this job years and years ago where you didn't have a helmet camera or you had a real slow speed camera that you didn't break down until Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Now we watch it automatically. And back then, when you didn't have a helmet camera, you just took the driver's word for it.
Yeah.
So they'd be on low pressure. I got a loose wheel. Come back in. You just get your ass chewed for it until you watched it on Tuesday. Like, wait a minute.
It wasn't loose.
Now we know instantly, hey, that's tight. That's not tight. And we've been doing this now with single lug nut for 3.5 years. So we have a good read of like, okay, we know this is tight. We know this one's close. We know this one's about to fall off, right? I watched that pit stop. I could watch just from the TV broadcast and know that their wheels were tight unless there was something wedged in the back that was something funky because they were waiting on fuel anyway. And it's so challenging. It's not talked about enough that this is a young group. Ryan Mulder, their front changer. Let's just name them real quick.
Hey.
Ryan Mulder, front changer.
Dog.
Aslan Pug is the jackman.
Dog.
Jeremy Kimbrough, stud, NFL player.
That's a strong name.
Tire carrier.
Kimbrough Slice.
Kimbrough Slice. John Patrick Keeley is their rear changer.
Dog.
And their fueler, Evan Marshall. It even goes down to the car chiefs, Nick DeFazio, their spotter, shout out, Josh Williams, all their team, and Steven Duran. There's a lot of distractions on the weekend of them not being able to get there. We'll run the last stop here. We see the last pit stop. They come in. We've talked
the
about
nose on that thing with the Red Bull yellow.
I like it.
So sick.
Their car looks cool. It looks like a supercar.
It does.
Bit. You can see they're waiting on fuel. You can see that how long.
Yeah.
You can just tell by how long their guns stay up, the movement of the wheels, that everything was tight and right. But, man, it's so easy. I try to make this concise, but when you know, we've seen it time and time and time again. We saw it with Marcus quite a bit. We see it with even at super speedways where we have like super speedway specialists that are going to go there and they know they can win it. Daytona or Talladega and something happens. You talked about it at length. Justin Marks put all his chips on the table, knowing that Shane van Gisbergen can come in and win road course races. There's more road courses on the schedule than there's ever been, and the financial swing of making the playoffs are huge. The year has
millions and millions.
That race was worth millions yesterday to that 88 team and the Trackhouse organization.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody on the team feels that. Yeah. They know that they're 30-something at point. They know that they didn't make the midseason bracket. They know all this stuff, right? And they know that they have to go to this race and perform. There's no more pressure on anybody that weekend than Shane van Gisbergen and everybody on his team because, hey, they know we got the guy.
Yeah.
We can really mess this up and look dumb.
And also now, if you look at all the road courses, is he going to be a favorite? Yes. But places that the Cup Series goes for the first time, nobody has more of an advantage than that guy. But you go to Watkins Glen. Granted, I know he was racing for the win there, but like the field is going to be a little bit closer to him because they have laps at Sonoma, they have laps at the Roval, and all these different places.
Absolutely.
So he knew that Mexico City was his best chance,
and the whole team did.
Yeah.
Right. And I said that to a couple of their guys at Suarez's party, and I said, man, I'm proud of those guys. A lot of them are really young to get that win because everybody wants to talk about, hey, just don't mess it up. But it's really, really, really easy in the next gen era to mess it up. Mm-hmm. Whether it be fuel load, whether it be loose wheels, whether it be penalties are real easy to come by. So I was pumped for them. Dogs of the week, 88 team. Does this make them way more dangerous moving on to these next couple road courses because of the fact that they've got this one off their back and it's not a must win? It's just we've done it once. Let's just win the rest of the road courses throughout the year, which he can do that, dude. He can sweep the road courses.
He really could, right? And then if you start to build a case for that, let's just say he wins another road course, right? And he wins a couple stages in the other ones. Then he has 15, 20 playoff points in the bank that where he's seated maybe 7th or 8th, 9th, without looking at the numbers. If that's enough to get him through the first round, the first round's going to be tough for him with Bristol, Darlington, and Gateway. I don't know I think it's in that order, but those are just 3 straight up ovals that the entire field has a lot of laps at. If he can get through that, like he might be able to make a little run. Who knows? But I think that their philosophy now, like he just said, should be to go acquire stage wins and certainly some road course wins to make them feel good going to the playoffs.
When I looked at that gap on the last run and how his, like you said, that graph lives rent-free in my head of how fast he was and what they found, and he found the feel in this Cup car that he wants. He could win 5 races this year because there's 4 road courses left, and I think that he can go on a run. I would be betting on him.
So
if I was a betting man, I'd be
so
betting
everybody wants to ask, what makes him so good? What makes him so good? What makes him so good? And it's all of it, right? But if we were to boil it down to a couple different things, he has honed his skills in a vehicle that is almost exactly the same as this one for V8 supercars. And we actually talked about this with Carl. We just talked it off to the side about, road course racing and NASCAR was more of a burden. Like you wouldn't even try, and because there was only two. There'd be Watkins, Glen, and Sonoma. That would be like, okay, we're gonna mail these two in. We'll worry about Bristol next week or whatever. So the level of competition in road courses in NASCAR was very, very relatively low. That's why you'd see ringers come in, Ron Fellows, Boris Said, come in and throttle these guys because they weren't racing against elite level road course guys. Now we have a substantial amount of road course races. Shane van Gisbergen is used to racing against elite level street racers and road course racers in a vehicle that's the exact same. The collective talent of V8 supercars at road courses is higher than the collective talent because we don't race road courses as much. So he comes over, and his level of comfortability is so much better and higher, and his processing speed of what he's comfortable with to move the bias forward and backwards and process things, especially between wets and dries and all of those variables, that somebody that does it, myself or 3/4 of the Cup Garage, isn't comfortable with and familiar with. So moves a little bit faster. Road course racing to Shane moves very slow, and he's very comfortable taking his car to what I call the point of no return, to where if you slide the rear tires, you're off in the barriers. He can go to that point within a foot every single lap. And when you do that over a course of a run, it's going to be seconds different.
Well, his point of no return is a lot different.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you ever been to, like, Grandfather Mountain Lookout where it sticks out a little bit? Everybody falls off the cliff here, but he can go out a little further. And the other thing he touched on when he talked to us just a little bit ago, he's going to run the summer shootout and getting more acquainted with left foot braking, because that's something that we've done since we were 12-year-old. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He's done this type of stuff since we were 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the gap in the Connor Ziliches and all of the young kids coming up. We're seeing the gap close on road courses, and we have seen the gap close on road courses because in the 90s, everybody just ran short track stuff, ran late models, ran this. Now we see, Chase Elliott and all these kids, when they started coming, Chase ran shifter carts and stuff like that in Colorado, right? We're introducing.
He's got a road course behind his house in Dawsonville.
But we're now, when they look at Toyota, right? They've invested into
Trans Am cars.
They've invested in the Chad boat and dirt racing, but they've also invested in the Nitro Motorsports. So these kids, the Brent Cruz of the world, are racing Trans Am cars now before they get to NASCAR. So that part is checked off. It's not just late models of Hickory. It's everything. And that's why I feel like the NASCAR schedule is so good, because it's so diverse now and it's so hard. We go to so many different racetracks, and it's never been harder than it is today. So shout out to Shane, shout out to all those guys, and shout out to just NASCAR in general, man. A great weekend, a great race, and we'll move on to Pocono, buddy.
All right. Hey, you guys were awesome with your Penny for Thoughts questions this week. We have a ton of them. We're not going to really do the names. We're going to go rapid fire here. What do you got?
Oh, first one's not a question. Please have SVG on the podcast. He can miss one of those team meetings. Good news, he was here today.
Yep, ask and you shall receive.
But he's going to be in studio sooner or later.
Leanne asked to find leaking from both ends. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory.
Pretty self-explanatory. I'll say this. I saw SVG before the race, and he was sweating as well. He just came out of a war zone, which was the bathroom. He was in one bad. What country should hold which country should NASCAR head to next?
I think
America.
Yeah, America. Just
stay in America for a little bit.
American soul. I'd love to see us go to Circuit de Jacques Villeneuve. Or that's not the name of the circuit, is it? Jacques is his son. Gilles Villeneuve. Side note, I honestly, full transparency, guys, you're gonna laugh. I thought the racetrack in Mexico, the guy's name was Hermanos Rodriguez. I thought it was one guy. Come to find out, Hermanos and Español's brothers. And the more I learned about these Hermanos, Pedro and Ricardo, those guys were studs. You watch the Earnhardt documentary on Prime about those guys, about, Dale sacrificing his life, chasing it. Like, those guys did that in the 60s. Pedro literally was racing F1 when he was 19 years old, flew from, I believe, London to Charlotte, ran 5th in the World 600.
Whoa.
Like, they were Daniel Suarez 60 years before Daniel Suarez. And also, Ricardo died in the at the racetrack.
Yeah.
Driving an F1 car. So you can feel that legacy like at the racetrack. The more I learn, I'm like, oh, now it all starting to make sense. So the Armandos Rodriguez are, how do you say in Espanol? Studs and dogs.
If I had to pick one place, I'd go to the Thunderdome in Australia.
I know. That thing's a little bit decrepit.
Yeah. But hey, like I said, they brought back Wilkesboro. They can bring back the Thunderdome in Australia. We'll all go over there together.
Couple more questions.
What road course would you like to see NASCAR race at anywhere? I'm going Laguna Seca.
That'd be cool.
I like the corkscrew.
Yeah.
Lads. What a Monday morning it was here in New Zealand. So freaking stoked. They're pumped. They are pumped over there. If you're talking to Shane, has he asked any NASCAR drivers to do his SADA?
That might be the race that he does with the Crown Vics over in New Zealand. He used to do like on his birthday or something. There was some sort of event or holiday.
Does he call them paddock cars? He's had a couple of those races in his backyard here in the States. So
hey, shout out Zach Johnson, 47. Boys, the Red Clay Strays Radio's game changer. I'm telling you.
It's best.
Good stuff.
Oh, here's a good one. Here's what we all want to know. Do you think Ricky brings the fighting britches to Pocono?
We all know those fighting britches, those yellow no-bull shorts. I believe he might pack them.
I think he might.
Might have to.
He might have to go in a dip in the old savings account, too, if he does. But NASCAR, we said it earlier. Pull the fines. Give him some DAP points if he fights on the front stretch.
Yeah, less fines, more DAP points for fighting on the pit road. I got a penny stacker. The way that, like, fan mail, I have about 3 different streams of how it gets. Like, sometimes they send it to teams or whatever, and I rarely get it. So this fella here sent me a graduation party invite. Grady Bachman, graduate summa cum laude from Coastal Carolina. And he attached this little note too that was nice. It's, Dear Corey, thank you for countless hours of company in my car and for being a role model in every aspect of life. I truly wouldn't be where I am today without you and your show. Hey.
Let's go.
Shout out Penny Stacker of the Week, Grady W. Bachman. So congrats on graduating from Coastal.
Look at this guy.
Best of luck.
Damn, that is an American lad right there.
Zoom in on that stud. Grady William Bachman Jr. Sr. He even put senior before he had a kid. That is a boss move.
What a stud.
What a stud. Like, I know I'm going to have some kids. I'm going to put senior because I'm already going to name my kid Junior. So, Grady, you're the Penny Stack of the Week. Appreciate that little note. Means a lot. Shout out. So, we talked about, Noah Gregson working on his backup car.
Did you see the tweet of him working on the back car, and whoever said
Chase Holden?
Oh, he said,
yeah. Well, you watched Earnhardt documentary one time, and all these guys want to start working on their cars. There is no worse feeling than when you crash primary car and those boys got to thrash in the backup car. It makes you feel like this big.
Oh, Jacob! Shout out to Jacob. He drives our pit stop car. He works in our pit department at Penske, and he drives a pit stop car, and he's sitting in there real low one day, and I look in there, and he's got a mustache. It's shaved perfectly, mustache hanging. I said, "We've been watching the Earnhardt documentary." He goes, "Yep."
Sitting all low at the door top.
Better stop this thing on the mark then, Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Suarez, we talked about. Cole Custer, first top 10 of the season, 8th.
Hey.
Those Haas factory guys are working their tails off, so
yeah, they are.
Shout out to them. Trayton Lapsevich wins the ARCA race at Berlin. Bonsignor, he's the only American to win national NASCAR race this weekend.
I always forget how small Riverhead is. That's smaller than Bowman Gray.
I think it's the same size, but it looks smaller for sure.
Yeah, but it's banked more.
I'm going to run the 300. Cool. You want to go? No, you ain't going.
Is that the Islip 300?
Islip 300. I'm going to go run it this year.
That'd be cool.
It's going to be good.
Whose car?
Mine.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. Matt, you forget I have a race car. Damn, I forgot you had one.
Yeah.
And then shout out to the Hollow drivers. That's a tough trip, man. That's a hard trip.
Well, then they're going Michigan, Mexico City, Pocono.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, and all the road crew guys that go and bust their tails, man. This stretch is not easy. Then we got to get ready to go to Sonoma. There's a lot of moving parts throughout the summer stretch. So shout out to everybody in the industry for a great weekend.
Anything grind your gears?
Nothing. Just maybe a little bit of the
negativity.
Not even the backlash, the pre-lash of doing something different, and how everybody, a lot of people inevitably cheer against NASCAR as a company, not as an industry, but as, like, they want to see NASCAR fail. I think everybody has shortcomings, but the teams obviously do a good job with their own travel and controlling what they control. when NASCAR takes it over, the slightest little thing throws people off the rails.
What really makes me scratch my head or grinds my gears is when competitors within the league criticize or are in that group of people that kind of want to see like an experiment or adventure fail. But they lose sight of if the sport succeeds, inherently the teams succeed, inherently the employees of said teams also succeed. So I don't know why it's just so hard to grab the rope and pull that in the same direction.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
and also, nothing for nothing, if you find some guy in the street saying that they can swap your dollars out for pesos on the sidewalk, it's probably not the most thing to do, and then you probably shouldn't fire up Twitter and tweet about it.
Yeah, that was tough. That's a tough look. I've heard of one guy having an issue down there, maybe getting mugged, and that was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So there's
like
a
Mama said,
rule.
Ain't nothing good happening after 2 o'clock.
And don't do dumb things with dumb people in dumb places. Right? If you don't do those 3 things, then you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to go to Pocono. Going to head up to Jersey for a couple days, see the family, the Jersey Shore, and head on into the Tricky Triangle. Your last race on the broadcast, so I'll be interested next week.
Post race is going to be lit, buddy.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun because the stage is in the fan zone. Fans are going to be all around, getting a little crazy. Ryan Fitzpatrick was on the show a couple weeks ago prior to the Coke 600. He's going to be there, as well as Andrew Whitworth. Both those guys are on Thursday Night Football on Prime. They're going to come for the beer toast as well, I believe. So it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. That's been so fun. The reaction, too, from the fans has been overwhelmingly positive. So I hate that it's over. I feel like we just got kind of in sync and got to jiving this week. Like our transitions and how Carl and I talk about certain things we want to talk about. I felt like this was the first week we both felt really good about it. But it's been so cool to work with Danielle. I feel like she's like my older sister now. She like helps me out trying to figure all this stuff. Shout out Danielle. She's such a pro. And Carl's awesome. Dale's awesome. Stevie's awesome. AA. So super blessed to be part of that team. I hate that it's over, but then
it was cool this weekend.
A little bit.
I went to dinner with you guys. It is truly a team too.
Yeah,
everybody works together. There's a lot of people that make it go. So to see how you guys all act, and the camaraderie is just like our picker would be, right?
Yeah.
So you're all working together. Everybody's doing their job.
I think I looked at the itinerary. There was 145 people.
Holy crap!
That went down to make that thing happen. Right? There's 6 people that you see on the camera. There's 139, 140 people behind it that make it all come together. And it's amazing how many people have to be juggling the ball at the same time, doing their job well, whether it's replays or graphics or the directors or, I mean, everybody. So it's been really unique to see a perspective on that I didn't anticipate. So that's all I got. Thanks for stacking pennies. Stacked a lot of pesos this week, ladies and gentlemen. Going to stack a little pennies in Pocono. Might try to hit up SNS Speedway one night, too.
Ooh, SNS Speedway. New go-karts at SNS Speedway, they said.
Whoa. Yeah. That's the hidden gem. That's the hidden gem. SNS Speedway in Pocono is one of the coolest indoor go-kart tracks in the country.
Amen.
So, yeah. Go scope us out. Maybe we'll be there one of those nights. Who knows? But tune in next week. Stacking pennies, breaking down a little tricky triangle. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Goodbye.